This is recording 731-731. Again, you can find me at ChristinaStation918.com. Okay, so I just want to go over crimes that Jean has recently committed with her Charles Manson occult. They're actually on tonight in my brain, showing off. They've got control of my eyesight, and they're doing a bunch of, like, syrupy, you know how they commit crimes using syrup? They're doing a bunch of syrupy freaking crap, trying to communicate to people, like pandering to them. And you know, people are like telling them, you guys are dead. You're dead. But they don't want to listen. They don't care. So anyway, so this is more crimes of Jean Jernigan Roberts, who is Navy Gal 27 at yahoo.com, who committed stolen valor, the leader of Manson, and her Charles Manson occult committed. So in Peru, 3 killed in attack on informal miners in Peru. At least 3 people have been killed and 7 more are missing after a New Year's Eve attack on informal miners in northern Peru, a local mayor states. The latest series of attacks on small-scale gold miners in the Andean County. The attack took place in the northern region of La Libertad, Libertad, and it says police reports 13 miners killed in the same district in May last year. So it says criminal gangs sought to control the area. So Jean Roberts committed this crime. So let me tell you what she's doing here in Tulsa, which you know the terror hub is here in Tulsa now. So like, and then they come and then they go in and out, and some of them like broadcast in from different parts, different areas, and then I can hear it in my brain. So, but they travel in back and forth. So I already told you this in a previous recording, in a previous podcast, her little setup she's got going on, trying to start a new mob or a new cartel and trying to disguise the Charles Manson occult under it. And she does that by ice raping and lying to Latin people and preying on them. And she also does that by working over cops and I would just say good old boys. And he said he's got good old boys ready to get rowdy, like ready to start like beating ass when they hear something's going wrong. So like, you know, the guys will just jump in a bar fight. Okay. So good hearts, they mislead their intentions, take advantage of them, so you get all that. I call everybody like that the fray, because they figure out, just like the military, they figure out, oh my God, we're being like they figure out they're being played. Okay, so that's what she's trying to do here. So this information in the report is like going with exactly what I know about what's happening here. So there's links there. So you know who's behind it, Jean Jernigan Roberts. So anyway, so New Year's Eve, so January, okay, and she's going to take advantage of the time of the year. It's Christmas, it's New Year's. But January, Aquarius, okay, so I know you guys already know that she uses that as a theme. And then gold miners, okay, so she committed this attack as a revenge attack, okay, and she does a lot of revenge attacks because she has robbed the cartel. And also to add in, she robbed, which you guys probably already remember this, but the people that she paid to kill me, or paid to follow, stalk me, and to kill me, and she had all kinds of money that she ripped off from the FBI, funneling it out of the FBI, and then she hid it underneath a apartment complex they used to live in Dallas, and it was in American money, it was in foreign money, and it was in gold, and it was in silver. Okay, so, and it was like, what, a quarter of $250,000, $250,000. And then somebody told me while I was there, as soon as I die, that the money goes to the apartment complex. And I mean, they were like really like trying to do that, but thank God, that didn't happen. And remember I told you what the apartment complex said? Jean Roberts approached them with her stick, SCHTICK, her stick, and they knew that she was up to no good. And she said, don't worry, if anything gets destroyed, I'll replace it. And was talking about losing buildings. And she said, I'll replace it, don't worry. It's all covered and handled, and gave them fake affidavits. And then they communicated to me in mental telepathy and said, no, they're not involved with Jean's shit. All they can do is like contact law enforcement or whoever they contacted. All they could do is contact authorities and say that this is going on, and then just not like participate in anything. But they said they don't want to be involved in any racket whatsoever. So she made up a lie, which she still does that now here to me here in Tulsa. She made up a lie. The apartment complex where I was at, there was a, what do you call that? A sewer drain? There was a sewer drain on the side of the concrete. On the side of the concrete. And when you walk by, it was really deep. And so one day I'm walking by past it, and she superimposes a little boy sitting in the bottom of the concrete. Okay. And she puts a little boy there. And then she tells me that a little boy is stuck down there and he's going to die. Or he died, or he's kidnapped or something. And I can tell by the way that she's doing it that she's lying. She wants to run a racket is what she wants to do. And it sounds like it was that person that always says in my brain, what'd she say? What'd she say? That's Jean. So like really, really freaking thirsty, like really excited and really stimulated for me to like they think I just fell off a tomato truck or something, for me to like fall for it and then go along with their gag, and then they run off and racket it. So I've never said anything about it because Jean is lying, and I don't have a way I didn't have a way to say anything about it. So I was like, I'll wait till I could talk to authorities in person. But then in my podcast, I wasn't even thinking about it, but by then it had already been handled. People in Tulsa using mental telepathy had figured out what Jean was trying to do. She was running her Save a Child campaign, but Jean's a perp, and she's like basically like literally like humping on like, and when I say humping, I mean like literally like a dog humping. Literally like humping on every Latin person there is, wanting them to pay attention to her because she wants to racket this crime. So every time I'm driving down the street, she points my eyes to sewer drains. So people started figuring out what was going on that were in my brain at different times. And they figured out that Jean was lying, and Jean is trying to run a racket, and that Jean really is guilty of really bad crimes, one of which I've turned her in for, which is drowning a little boy. So is she trying to do that to exchange one for the other, and then like knowing it was a lie, and then that be a part of her getting away with it, with drowning the little boy? Like, what is her agenda? Like, what is she doing there? So anyway, in my brain, people just squashed it. Like, I'll drive down the street and she still points my eyes to drains, and people talk over the top of it. They just talk nonsense, or like it's just totally ignored. So anyway, So she is committing that. She committed this crime out of, and I'm not trying to be like blunt as in gross, because I'm sure you hear enough of that from Jean's people. I'm just trying to explain while my vocabulary is seriously limited because it is controlled by criminals. I'm trying to talk as well as I can or as good as I can while being controlled by criminals using ice on my speech. So I'm trying to clearly articulate as clearly as I can her desperation and her stalking of Latin people. It's like, it's gross. She wants everybody to think that she's Latin. See how she's controlling my speech right there? She like cut the word Latin in half when I just said it. Like she controls everything. Like she controls everything about it. And she uses AI voice modulation and CGI. You've got all my recordings, you know, all her stunts. She tries so hard. Okay. People are getting wise to it, and some people still aren't wise to it. But the wiser people get to it, the more people know. So, and depending on what part of the area I'm in any town or any neighborhood or any city, where I live right now in South Tulsa is completely netted down by Jean Roberts and her criminals. So in AI mental telepathy, nothing, literally nothing gets through. So I have to make a podcast to be able to speak, to be able to make reports, but I need to make a podcast because the people listening in, it's criminals in my brain listening in. So the only way to make a report is, you know what? Jean made the choice to hack me when I tried to make a report the right way. So I'm going to make reports this way. So I actually have cases open against her, you know. So anyway, this is a revenge attack because everybody knows that she robbed the cartel. Everybody knows they turned her in. And she's trying desperately again still to flip it around. And she's pretending to be the cartel. And she's pretending to be in response committing this crime. And she's saying that she's killing people. She's killing people out of as a way to get paid back or to pay the cartel back, and she's a part of the cartel doing that. And you can tell even that's broken because you can tell it's a revenge attack. Like, are you pretending to be the cartel here doing this as a way to pay themselves back? Like, you give yourself away even in this. Like, that's how stupid you are because you can tell it's a revenge attack. So, like, who are you at this point? Are you yourself pretending to be cartel? Or are you just yourself committing these crimes? Like, what are you doing? So, and another thing she pulls is Christina said we could. You know how she always does, the military said we could. The police said we could. Everybody said we could. Saudi Arabia said we could. Another thing she does is, Christina said we could. No, I did never sell you. Why? I'm turning you in. Why would I let you tell lies to make money to commit terrorism? I mean, are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? So anyway, so she's doing this out of revenge is what she's doing. So you can tell she committed this crime. So, okay, so then the next one is, after this, after I got done reading this, I was outside smoking, and after I got done reading this, and I'm like, she committed this crime, and I'm thinking this to myself, she gets on in my brain, and she acts like she's going to take it from me, and she's going to go racket it. She's going to go do her thing. She's going to go run her racket. She'll handle this. And you know what she said? She goes, thank you. And I guarantee you that's what she's off doing right now, is trying to racket it. So Australia, 2 seriously injured in Melbourne New Year's Eve stabbing. 2 men have been hospitalized with serious injuries following a late night New Year's Eve stabbing in Melbourne's inner suburbs. The police force in the state of Victoria said in a statement on Thursday that emergency services called around 11:45 local time on Wednesday after a group of up to 7 males armed with knives and machetes had attacked 2 men outside a restaurant in the inner city suburb of Carlton. The 2 victims, 18 and 20, sustained serious injuries and were transported to the hospital. The perpetrators fled the scene in vehicles, and Victoria police said that detectives will investigate. Well, I definitely would check the cars. But I mean, I know you guys already know that. Check every little detail because everything is hiding in plain sight. So, and everything is word punny and Charles Manson knick-knack paddywhack. So, okay, so you guys already know the Vicky government, VICHY. She's using that. She's also using the 45. She's using the 3 out of 4. Also the 11. She's also using Mel's Diner. She's using Alice. She's also using RCA Victor. So see all code on RCA Victor. So that goes to the silent war. Okay. So you got, if you want to decode it, go back to the very first song that was ever made on a record player. Go decode the RCA Victor record player. And then there's a whole bunch. I decoded like tons of it. So there's a whole bunch there. And then she's using the machetes and the knives. So, do you know the machetes goes to my 6th grade year? Okay, so you've got all that. You can go through all that podcast. So you've got all that. So all my podcasts on speaking to the CIA. So anyway, and then she's also, you can tell the syrup here, she's using Belinda Jones. Remember, Belinda is a witch. Okay, that's from my grade school years at East Globe. So she's using Belinda Jones. So she's saying witchcraft is what she's saying. She's saying witch. So, and this is a person that they chose to make a statement. So they're using, how it's making me laugh, and it's not even funny. They're making you laugh on purpose to try to make it look like you don't care when you're trying to make a report, and people are using runaway speech, trying to control your speech. So, okay, so Belinda, so she's using the initials BJ. So she's saying, my dad's ex-girlfriend is a witch, and she's doing this to herself, using her typical modus operandi of self-deprecation. So, and the syrup, and then she's still trying to appeal, pretending to be cartel. So then they use the quote, great behavior. So Jean, you know, in her teaching fetish, we just covered that. You know, she has her teaching. She's got a whole teaching Charles Manson knick-knack paddywhack theme. You guys already know all the teaching. Okay, there's no longer Alfred P. Murrah building, because she is doing part of doing that around the Jake Isles band Centerfold song. Okay, so she's got a huge teaching fetish. So anyway, and she loves to pat people on the head. Okay, so great behavior. So she's using that, but she's making a reference to Donald Trump. So she's syruping Donald Trump. Okay, so that's what she's doing there. And she's trying to be patronizing and acting like, oh, you're naughty. So that's what she's doing there. So she committed this crime also. So then, Brazil, 5 dead in shootings in southern Brazil. 5 people died earlier Wednesday morning, including 1 victim and 4 armed suspects. 2 related shootings in southern Brazil's Parana state. So she's using Panama Canal. She's using Van Halen. So she's she's executing a revenge attack there because she's mad about Van Halen, because they don't like Gene Roberts, and they have good reason not to. And she thought she was going to racket them. She thought they were her preciouses, and they're not her preciouses. So she's executing a terror attack using them, and she's also using Um, um, Panera bread is what she's using. And then there's probably a lot more here. She's using paradise here for Paraguay. So, United Kingdom, 5 injured after being attacked by man with crowbar at hospital. Again, this is syrup. So this is something that I decoded a long time ago in Slidell. Her murder confession, where I decoded out where she said, "I sold death," and she was using a shoulder hook or a crowbar thing. Again, I decoded the whole thing out, and I could tell that it was older because it was more complicated. It wasn't her normal style, but it's something that she has been doing. So it goes from her, and then it goes from her predecessors, and then she takes over in the late 60s. So she's using that. She tried to white people that when I was decoding it. You got the recording. I don't need to go through the whole thing again. So anyway, and then, so you can tell she committed this crime also. So then public safety incident. Not that one. Okay. So also Newton County. So she's using Newton's apple. And then you've got Bradley, and then St. Helens. And then it's also, you can tell it's a revenge attack because I was making fun of Jean and nicely giving the police a hard time, saying you need to arrest Jean by communicating to them using comedy. And I was playing Roy D. Mercer. So I'm like going the opposite of this. Like, you need to arrest Jean. This is not funny. So anyway, so she is executing a revenge attack on that. So then, okay, next crime. Public safety incident. Okay. 5 injured after being attacked by man with crowbar. Okay, hang on. They might have copy and pasted all this in here. They did. They copy and pasted it a million times. Okay. Okay, so the Syria, I'll just have to open up the original report. So 1 person was killed and several members of Syria's internal security forces were wounded on Wednesday after a suicide bomber targeted police patrol in the Bab al-Faraj area of Syria's Aleppo. So she's using serendipity there, 5th grade, Holy Angels, Seal Code, and then United States hydrogen sulfide release at refinery in Pascagoula, Mississippi. So she's using Passover. She's using the H and the chemistry symbol. And then you look at the numbers. So you can tell Jean Roberts definitely committed this crime. This fits with all the same terrorism that she's been committing, where she commits terrorism and things get dumped or spilled. And the next thing you know, the company is either missing product before, during, or after. She uses it as a way to steal. So this is one of those kind of things. So there's probably hydrogen sulfide missing, or something else that this plant works with that's probably missing, that she probably stole. Human caused ecological disaster. Let me see. Look at this. Okay. Canada Coast Guard finds fuel in water after Port Moody Marina. There's the Moody's jewelry here in Tulsa. I know Jean was going to end up committing a terror attack using them. That's exactly what she did. There's a lot of fires. There's too many fires to mention, but you can tell it's the same group of people that bust pipes and set fires, the gigantic wildfires. They're the people that set the fires. They set fires in Dallas, decoded those, turned those in, and it's the same group of people that set fires at the Oklahoma-Texas border. Okay, so that's all those people, and they're traveling back and forth between Texas. Okay, so and it's Gene Jernigan Robertson or Manson occult, but you know the specific groups of people that is. So Switzerland, several dead in explosion at Swiss ski resort. So again, you got Swiss knife, but again with the ski resort attacks and the snow and the ice. Okay, and then you know Gene loves to be Swiss Miss. So this fits it's the same criminals, the same group of criminals, but they're all like converging together. So, and this one was Gatian, so Galatian, they're using a Spartacus reference. And then also is in a bar called Lee Constellation. So they're syruping that they're Charles Manson and Zodiac killers. Well, all the Zodiac killer, all the Charles Manson, all the Zodiac killers, those are all your people. Okay. Some of them are just like Eugene. Syrup and just want to just they're Jeffrey Dahmers is what they are. And then she's also got serial killers that are with her that are not Jeffrey Dahmers, but they're all Charles Manson. So they're syruping out that they're Charles Manson. So basically what I'm saying is this is the Jeffrey Dahmer group of the Charles Manson Zodiacs that have been committing all these crimes. They're the ones that do the overlays of their sick, nasty little kidnapping friend. They're just nasty, vile people. So anyway, and I mean, to do what they've been doing, but that's who's trying to take over the planet. So nobody's going to let any of them get away with anything. Please do not try to syrup and control my speech. So I'm cutting this recording off. That's all I have. I'm ending this at 27 minutes. No, she's pointing my eyes to the how many minutes are on here. No, I'm not communicating to you, Gene. I know you love to have a little experience fantasizing that I'm communicating to you when I'm turning your ass in. I'm sick of it.